Today we're going to talk about the 11 foods that can help shrink your prostate naturally. When a man reaches the age of 50, over 50% of those men have an enlarged prostate. I mean, that's bizarre to me. Why would the prostate start enlarging as we get older? The prostate should be the size of a walnut, but it can grow to be the size of an orange, okay? And then that prostate, when it gets bigger, it pushes up into the bladder, and then it reduces the capacity of that bladder to hold urine. The biggest symptom with an enlarged prostate is this frequency of urination at night, sometimes even more than during the day. When I was in practice, I've had men come in and tell me that they had to get up literally 10 times a night to urinate. If you're waking up that often, you literally are destroying your sleep. During the day, you're going to be so tired. Stress goes up. Your mood goes down, it affects your cognitive control. It can lead to so many other issues. So this is a very important problem to fix, and I'm going to show you how to fix it with foods. And then I'm also going to talk about the foods that you need to completely stay away from if we want to fix this problem. And you can fix this issue. But I want to differentiate two things, because if you're having this frequent urination at night, yes, it could come from this prostate enlargement, but it can also come from another problem, which basically is called polyuria, which means you're just urinating frequently. And that condition might occur without even having an enlarged prostate. What makes your body produce excessive urine? Type 2 diabetes. But even conditions that are pre-diabetic, if you're eating a lot of carbs and you're just getting a lot of sugar through the body, that tends to push out a lot of fluid because your body has to get rid of this sugar. So it's going to get rid of it through the urine, and with the loss of sugar comes a loss of water. Also, if you're drinking a tremendous amount of water at night, I'm going to highly recommend that you increase more salt in the early part of the day, so then you can drink most of your water in the early part of the day and not drink a few hours before bed. In other videos, I talk about consuming salt before bed to help reduce cortisol, but only if you're not going to drink a lot of water with it. So instead of eating those chips, just put a little salt in the tongue, or even just a little bit in a small amount of water and slug that down. Or better yet, just increase your salt more at dinner or in the early part of the day. Another thing is alcohol. Alcohol will definitely increase your urination through the night. Caffeine, especially at night, is a stimulant and your liver has to get rid of it, but also that can affect your urination at night and act as a diuretic. There's certain medications that a lot of people are on, they don't even realize that could be the problem, especially diuretics. If you have kidney damage, you'll have less urine output. But before you get to that stage, there's usually more urination output. This is an interesting one. Sleep apnea can increase the urine output in your body. If your breathing is off and you're trying to get air and you're creating this environment where you're not getting enough oxygen because you have sleep apnea, there's all sorts of things that can happen that will increase certain hormones that can then cause more urination output. And if you have sleep apnea, click the video down below and watch that video when we're done here. Okay, I already mentioned the salt. Let's shift gears to this prostate. If you look at the medications that are recommended for an enlarged prostate, most of them work by inhibiting this certain enzyme that then reduces this thing right here called DHT, which is a very powerful form of testosterone. It does work, but it comes with a package. It comes with side effects. Testosterone actually converts into this DHT, which is a more powerful form of testosterone. And this also is involved with hair loss too. But here's the biggest question I want to know. As we get older, our prostate enlarges, but our testosterone goes down, right? Because look at this. Testosterone goes down as we age. So why is it that we have a higher level of this more powerful form of testosterone? And the answer is this DHT does not actually increase that much. It's just actually working more. And that is where the problem lies. There's some natural things like saw palmetto, milk thistle, stinging nettle root, which are all natural inhibitors of this 5-alpha reductase enzyme. And so those I like because they have very little side effects. Another one would be pumpkin seed oil. This is interesting. I had to dig to find this, but I wanted to know if the prostate had vitamin D receptors, and absolutely. The reason why you have receptors for vitamin D is that it controls the growth of the prostate. It keeps it from growing too much. If you are deficient in vitamin D, that could be a reason why your prostate is getting bigger. And it's a simple solution. You can either get more sun or take vitamin D, but so many people are deficient in vitamin D, especially as they age. Also, vitamin D controls inflammation, and a lot of people with an enlarged prostate have more inflammation in the prostate that then leads to scar tissue and fibrosis. You have to radically change the diet, and anytime you take vitamin D, especially for the prostate, I would not take anything less than 20,000 IUs, because to penetrate a lot of the barriers, especially as someone ages, you have to increase it way more than the regular RDAs, which are ridiculous, which are like 600. So in 20,000 IUs of vitamin D3 per day is equivalent to being out in the sun for 40 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. And then also, vitamin D works with magnesium. They both work together. Vitamin D won't work without magnesium. Magnesium also helps control the smooth muscle. It also helps protect you against building up calcification in the prostate, which a lot of people have as well. So this magnesium is super, super important. Do not get the magnesium oxide that a lot of people get. Why? Because you only absorb 3%. Get the one that you absorb 80%, and you'll start seeing changes. It's called magnesium glycinate. Minimally 350, but maybe 400, maybe up to 600 of the magnesium, because that'll also help you sleep as well. There's a couple hormones that we've already talked about. DHT, that kind of goes down. Testosterone goes down. Estrogen does go down, but not as much as testosterone. But the point is, the relative ratio could be out of balance, where you have just too much estrogen versus testosterone. And maybe also because of the plastics in the environment, that can create a problem with an enlarged prostate because of estrogen. DIM is a good remedy because that's a concentrated cruciferous natural product that helps to balance your estrogen. But there's something more common that's going on with most men: insulin resistance. Just realize that as we age, insulin goes up. And insulin is a very powerful growth hormone. If you're overweight or you have belly fat, you're going to have excessive insulin. That means this prostate is going to be flooded with insulin, which is also going to trigger something else called IGF-1. We must lower it, because if we don't, the prostate can keep getting bigger and bigger and inflamed, and it increases androgens. So insulin is involved in so many different things, and you probably already know this, but insulin is triggered by not just carbohydrates, but it's the frequency of eating. So this kind of goes beyond just what to eat. And it talks about when to eat and the frequency of eating. These snacks between meals, especially late night snacking, is deadly on this prostate. It's probably one of the biggest causes of this polyuria right here. I was a professional snacker at night for years. So I've been there, I've done that. Let's go into the foods now. Number one, low carbohydrate. This is kind of not a food, but it's just kind of a description of what you should be not eating, right? Too many carbohydrates. So then we just switch over here, what to avoid: sweets, starches, okay? Not just sugar, but hidden sugar, starches. It's bread, pasta, cereal, crackers, biscuits, which are basically sugar. So you want to eat meat, eggs, and vegetables. Salmon, because of the omega-3 fats. That's anti-inflammatory. Get wild-caught salmon, really, really healthy. But you can also do sardines. Number three, arugula. This is a cruciferous vegetable, but arugula is a really good base for your salad because it increases nitric oxide, which actually is a vasodilator, and it'll allow the urine to come out fully, and so you're not holding any urine. So arugula is a really good one. It has the most nitric oxide of anything. Beets are also high in nitric oxide. So these two, put them in a salad, perfect. Number five, pumpkin seeds. I've already talked about pumpkin seed oil for the prostate, but pumpkin seeds and pumpkin seed oil decrease that enzyme that makes more DHT. So it'll actually lower that. Number six, dark chocolate. It's almost bitter with the least amount of sugar. Chocolate has polyphenols that increase nitric oxide. Now, some people are going to comment, oh yeah, but chocolate's high in oxalates, but it's also high in magnesium, a much better binder to oxalates than calcium. So if you have enough magnesium in there, it'll protect you against the calcium oxalate stones that some people get. Green tea also decreases that DHT. I've talked about that. That would be a good thing to drink during the day. You can get one that's decaffeinated, but green tea is one of the best things. Tomato and tomato paste actually is loaded with lycopene, which is known to support the prostate and lower your risk of prostate cancer. I'm going to recommend cod liver oil because it's very unique. It's different than fish oil. It has the omega-3 plus the vitamin D plus the vitamin A. But you can also get cod liver in a can, and it's bathed in cod liver oil. Apple cider vinegar before a meal will help to regulate your blood sugar. Remember, we're trying to fix insulin resistance, right? So this would be really good. Watermelon is another thing that can help increase nitric oxide too. Not a lot of it, but what I found when you drink watermelon, it has electrolytes as well. But I'm not talking about drinking this right before bed because that's going to make you want to urinate. Take that earlier in the day. These are the things that cause insulin resistance: sweets, starches, and seed oils. So you must get off the seed oils to fix insulin resistance. We've already talked about alcohol. Milk can enlarge the prostate, especially commercial milk, because of the hormones involved in it. Soda, basically you're drinking sugar water, not good for what we're dealing with. Fried foods and the seed oil, deadly. And then artificial sweeteners. This can really flare up your prostate and create more problems. One of the things I started out talking about that was really important is vitamin D. And you need to know the full picture of vitamin D and what that can do, not just for the prostate, but for the rest of the body. And for that information, you should watch this video right here.